president here, they had it tough. So I'm shopping 12 at night or whatever I'm doing, I meet people. And I say to them, I said, you know, you will come from anything talking to us, oh my God, it's anything. I said, I'm here because of you guys. So sometimes we use the whole picture. Instead of following the message, we start following the individual. We start following the individual, that's doom and gloom. If I could go tomorrow and somebody sitting here knows that you never check. So systems, processes, we're always improving. Never ending. And somebody like us outside working in war zones, like in say Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, our compliance checks are like really like very strict. By the government, my own CFO, compliance, because if you're delivering in say even Lebanon with a war zone, they want to know who you're working with, who you send the money to. This is what most people don't realize. So it comes if you're buying from you, your company Lebanon, we're going to check you, check your firm for 5 years. It gets put through the internet, the police computer. Then we do all the checks. So when a year later you might do something bad, but we can prove that we done everything at the time to make sure you weren't a year. So there's a whole lot of conversations to be had. Money given to charities, unfortunately, we are what's the word I'm looking for? We are all complicit in corruption by not checking, by not following up. Until you check, you can't say to this guy here, well, we gave you money 10 years ago, where's it gone? You should ask that guy, we gave you money 6 months ago, where's it gone? Take responsibility. There's no personal responsibility when it comes to this sort of work. It's all left to us. Most people like us, they are good people report, other people won't, because they think we had what's happening up. The last 2 months, almost every organization left the job within a month. When the media and the water went, we did the boring work for 2 years, cleaning up everything. That continues. And let's see what happens this month.
Circling back to the point you brought up about being critical of the government, of course, the ones that are oppressing people, and holding them accountable for the human rights abuses and violations. You spoke about Punjab's situation when it comes to the lack of water management. That's a cause, right? And Khalsa Aid is helping, but there's only so much you can do without addressing that root cause. Is there any room, any space for you to interact with the government, or how does Khalsa Aid's policy around that work?
We're very happy to work with anyone in Punjab, anybody, central government to Punjab government to improve infrastructure in Punjab, the water management system, water system. But there's no will on the government side. I think sometimes we think that the government is an expert in everything. When it comes to flood and disaster, none of them are experts. They have no idea. We want them to act, but they have at their disposal funds to bring in expertise immediately by requesting the center to bring I think in India it's called NDRM. So they're like a rescue service and emergency service. So they could have called all of them into the job. They could be everywhere posted by them, but it's very minimal. So governments, we can only try and engage, but unfortunately, even we look at the government go about helping with hospitals in Europe. Very slow. They want signed documents, this big money. There's a guy from Canada now, in Winnipeg, he's in Punjab, working at preschool, really good, great guy. They asked me 70, 60, 70 lakh from him to do something. People get disheartened. So yes, they'll try. Currently he's from Cyprus. He went to the job for 2 weeks. He has the experiences, so maybe the current will write to the government from outside Canada, outside UK officially, that we're happy to help you. Blah 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 blah. But point is, it just falls on that head. Nobody's interested in that. They will all make statements. We will write again and again, but if we had an independence to do what we want to do in the job, we would rebuild and look at bringing experts from around the world with people dealt with flood, from Bangladesh to Holland, to come and help us do reports on us, research, how we can move forward, how we can improve, stop this flooding. But then Pakistan authorities need to work with us as well, because
sense Punjab's borders or Indian Pakistan borders, even Canada. There's a lot of issues here, and one that comes back is to bring the conversation back to Quebec. It's a very unique Sikh community. It's one that faces exceptionally unique challenges and one that is related to identity. You spoke about how we get a philosophy just by looking at us, we know exactly, right? But what happens if people like you and I aren't allowed to go in those spaces to represent ourselves? So I wanted to ask you, despite these challenges a lot of people face, you're not allowed to work as a teacher, as a lawyer, or in the public service, as a prosecutor, how do we continue to spread our message while being excluded? The conversation has gone to, or is going to be heard in the Supreme Court, but that's up to them to decide, regardless of the result of yes, you can wear your distag in all environments or you cannot. What should our mentality be? And not in terms of like you should wear it, but in terms of how should we continue doing our work while being marginalized and excluded?
I think like you have like a Khalsa team here, you got other than groups probably in Montreal as well. You carry on who you are. You carry on being who you are. You don't need to go push yourself. If you keep doing the seva, you keep reaching out, you have these great outreach programs, people themselves will come to you. This is how it works. You have another organization in Canada called World Sikh Organization. They do great work, civil work, civil rights, and these are the people who you need to bring to support, build up, to bolster, to represent you, because they do great work when it comes to helping civil rights. There are other organizations too. But if you think how you bring change, one is the lobby that we talk about, which is through organizations like WS or other people, and other is when you're doing seva, like these guys are doing, and I'm sure there must be other language groups here, right? So if we not do seva locally, you support each other and you bring in politicians, your local councillors, local members of parliament, they come and see what we do. And when they see the work you're doing, like in Brampton, you got Mayor Brown, right, in Brampton. Amazing guy. He can't do enough for us. He wants to be in the front line doing zero. And through that, the local community is flourishing. He's protecting his community. He's protecting all minorities, not just Sikhs. We're reaching different levels of respect. And here, you let challenge it, because there's a lot of intolerance for identity, the minority. But I'm telling you, like you're asking me, how do you stop someone becoming a murderer? You don't. You keep doing the goodness, who you are. You don't want to become that level. So you just keep your standard. Same thing in a road rage, and somebody's swearing and shouting, and you don't do what I do, want to fight them. So what you do, you just diffuse the situation. All right, whatever, that's fine. They go, no, this guy's not bad. So many times you go up to someone and you say, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. They say, straight away, it's diffusing it. It's the way we challenge these acts. It's the way we utilize our funds to support organizations represent us. And mostly, it's engaging your politicians in your seva, because they want votes, and that brings votes to them. And then you keep engaging. So that's basic thing. There's so much more you can do, but never feel helpless. Look where you are. Look at you guys. You know, you are here. The diaspora here. The family's been here for years. You know, they've struggled, but your struggle now, unfortunately, is not across the border, the movement locally, which is intolerant. But our tolerance will win the day. Working with churches, working with funders, working with mosques, will become stronger.
You're right in the sense that Canada is facing unique challenges from outside its border, whether it's transnational repression from the Indian state, when we're looking at Sikhs being targeted directly, or if it's from our southern neighbor when it comes to amplifying certain voices and giving them a stage. We see, it's a concern, we see increased polarization, we see Sikhs also being vocal, and those opinions aren't aligned with Sikh ones, but their voices are loud in terms of, the louder the voice, the more space. Yeah. So what do you have to say in terms of that? Our Sikh philosophy and how we could utilize that to combat those voices and really bring our brothers and sisters that have gone in that direction of intolerance, whether it's seeing people for their faith and judging them, prejudice and racism, how do we bring them back to our message?
We have them in London, one of the real clowns, like they're link up with the far right, and they're out there protesting against immigrants, and they themselves are immigrants, and they get nothing but accused, and I feel sorry for them, I say pity their souls. And they put the plug on the turban on, say, look, Steve's standing with this, yeah, let's go, we're all integrated. But they're like such a small minority, I mean, one or two maybe, handful. You know, if you ask me, there's two answers here. I don't want them back, right? They can have them, right? Secondly, you can be very, compassionate and try to understand, say, what you need to, you know, you're part of a, I